All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling a topic I think will really resonate with you, especially with your background in constitutional law.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at President Trump's executive order, the one that tried to end birthright citizenship,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
court challenges the 14th Amendment. It's a real constitutional showdown.
It really is. You've got this direct clash, a presidential order versus a fundamental part of the Constitution.
Exactly.
It raises serious questions about the limits of executive power. Like, how far can it really go? And what does citizenship in America actually mean? It's a big deal.
It is a big deal, and it's been debated forever. So let's break it down a bit for everyone listening. Birthright citizenship, at its core, means if you're born on U.S. soil, you're automatically a citizen. Simple as that.
Right.
Doesn't matter your parents' immigration status at all. And it's been this way for over a century.
It has, and that's all thanks to the 14th Amendment.
Right, the 14th Amendment. Yeah.
Yeah. It came about after the Civil War. Think about the context. The nation was working to ensure newly freed slaves were recognized as full citizens.
Absolutely. Makes sense.
So the amendment states, in simple terms, that anyone born in the U.S. and subject to its jurisdiction is a citizen.
Okay, so how do we go from that to a president trying to change things up with just an executive order? What happened there?
Well, the Trump administration argued that the 14th Amendment wasn't designed to apply to children of undocumented immigrants. They basically tried to use an executive order to reinterpret the amendment. It was like an attempt to bypass Congress's role in creating immigration law, you see.
Yeah, that's a pretty big move.
Yeah.
And that's what led to the lawsuit, right? I mean, you had over 20 states banding together to fight this in court.
Exactly. They weren't having it. And their arguments were pretty straightforward. They said, first off, the president doesn't have the authority to change this. Defining citizenship is Congress's job, plain and simple.
Right, separation of powers, all that.
Exactly. And secondly, they said the executive order directly contradicts the 14th Amendment's clear wording. It doesn't make any distinction between children of citizens and children of non-citizens if they're born on U.S. soil.
So are you saying a president can't just reinterpret the Constitution on a whim with an executive order?
Well, that's essentially what those states were arguing. Think about it. This case really gets to the core of presidential power.
It does. It does.
I mean, imagine if a president could reinterpret any part of the Constitution they didn't agree with just by issuing an executive order.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
That would completely undermine the whole system of checks and balances that the Constitution is built upon.
Chaos. Utter chaos. So you mentioned jurisdiction as a key part of the 14th Amendment. How does that factor into all of this?
That's a great question. It's a very important point. The Trump administration's argument was that undocumented immigrants aren't really under the jurisdiction of the U.S. in the way the 14th Amendment intended.
Okay, so they're physically here, but...
But the states pushing back argued that being physically present in the U.S. and subject to its laws automatically puts you under its jurisdiction.
regardless of your immigration status.
Regardless of immigration status, exactly.
I see. So the whole thing hinges on how you define jurisdiction. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
What would have happened if the courts had sided with the Trump administration's view? It seems like it could have had huge repercussions, right?
Oh, absolutely. Potentially reshaping U.S. immigration policy as we know it. Imagine it could even question the citizenship of people born here to non-citizen parents. It would have been a massive shift.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so we've got this intense legal battle, real people's lives hanging in the balance. What's the bigger picture here? What can we learn from this whole situation?
I think this whole thing highlights how our understanding of the Constitution is constantly evolving.
Right.
It's not set in stone. It's continually being reinterpreted as new situations emerge, like this one with birthright citizenship. This case could set a major precedent for how much power a president truly has and how we define citizenship going forward. It really cuts to the heart of our nation's core principles.
It really does make you think. How will this case impact future interpretations of the Constitution? And what does it tell us about the balance of power within our government? So much to consider. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.